South Carolina Criminal Justice Hall of Fame in Columbia. A routine highway stop suddenly turns violent and deadly for a South Carolina state trooper. It is Friday, November 20th, 1992, just after 8 p.m. South Carolina State Trooper Mark Coates has made a routine traffic stop on this, the 5th anniversary of his graduation from the State Training Academy. He will not live to enter year 6.
How you doing? Hanging in there all right? Not too bad. Just time to quick.
For these next few minutes are to be filled with a nightmare of incredible twists of fate that will forever brand two indelible words in the psyche of law enforcement: if only.
Mark Coates was a member of the Highway Patrol's aggressive criminal enforcement team of the ACE team. At that time, there were 16 uniformed officers with the ACE team. 14 of us had been in Jasper County for this entire week. Jasper County is it's the southernmost part of the state of South Carolina. It's right at the Georgia, South Carolina border. We had had supper a little after 7. Just before 8, Trooper Mark Coates left the restaurant to begin his tour of duty on I-95. Short time right after 8 o'clock, Trooper Coates stopped a 1967 Mustang on I-95 northbound lane about the 7-mile marker for a traffic infraction.
Well, is that all Georgia gives you, or they got a registration card? That's all they give you. Go ahead and have a seat in your car. I'll be right back with you, okay?
Still, I-95 was known for a lot more than minor traffic infractions.
I work in I-95 that travels from Miami all the way to Maine. I was stationed in Jasper County for off and on 7 years, and we had more shootings and chases and drug arrests and incidences that were ever thought of in just the 7 years that I was stationed on that stretch. I-95 not only is a corridor, of course, for drugs traveling south to north, but also all of your criminals travel that stretch of highway. And that, to me, is one of the most dangerous highways, I think, one of them in the United States.
Mark Coates knew it too. Days earlier, he told fellow officers he planned to ask for a transfer from the ACE team to the patrol's weights division. He had been a powerful force hustling drug runners off South Carolina interstates, confiscating over $1 million in cash, cocaine, and marijuana.
I don't want you to get out and get hurt or nothing.
This night, however, there appeared to be no cause for alarm. That little bell that is said to go off in peace officers' minds at the first sign of trouble apparently didn't.
I'll let you know that. You might need to give it to somebody. I'm going to write you a warning. Just try to be more careful, okay?
2 fellow ACE team members in separate cruisers drove by, glanced over, and went past.
Mark and several others proceeded out to the interstate. I went down to the state line, turned around, and was heading back north. While I was headed back north is when I noticed Mark had a car pulled over on the side of the road, which ended up being the same violator that he was shot by.
Step on out and I explain this to you. So you eat the cheeseburger? Yeah, I know. I got some on me too.
When I saw the blue lights, I slowed down a little bit. I looked over there and I saw them both outside on the side of the road. Everything appeared to be fine. I just continued on up the roadway.
I had passed Mark ahead of Jake, which I didn't know Jake was behind me, but I had passed Mark as Mark was, still had light burn in the car, and I was going on up the road a ways. I just passed by, and just everything looked okay, everything looked normal, and proceeded on north.
At the time, it was not standard operating procedure to call out of service or request backup on a seemingly low-risk traffic stop.
All of us, you know, hindsight's 20/20, and none of us would put ourselves on a pedestal to say what we would or would not have done in that particular situation. Again, like I said, we had been working Jasper County since Tuesday of that week. I guess Trooper Coach Mark felt that he had this situation under control.
How far, where you live in Savannah about? I'm not familiar with Savannah.
You know where Winds Forest is?
No, I don't. How far is it from here?
Shoot, I couldn't tell you exactly. Probably 40 miles.
As so many of us have done prior to Mark's murder that night, have search vehicles on a one-on-one type basis.
And this one-on-one appeared to be lopsided by anyone's standards. The 32-year-old motorist, Richard Blackburn, was just 5 feet 7 inches tall, but stood on a 300-pound frame of mostly belly.
What's the weather been like down there today?
Just kind of dreary.
Really?
Just kind of dreary.
33-year-old Coates, a high school football star and ex-Marine, was 6 feet of muscle toned by regular workouts.
Say, this won't be any points or anything, or won't go on my insurance or nothing?
It'll be good to go.
Thank you, sir.
As much as anything, however, Trooper Coates may have been lulled by the motorist's comportment.
How many years of education do you have, formal education do you have?
12 years.
12 years.
This guy, Blackburn, was a polite person, nice, and within the blink of an eye, he changed from nice to evil.
I would have never had any idea he would turn like that. He just didn't seem like he was going to be that kind of person. He was the way he talked and his mannerisms.
Is it Richard?
Yes, sir.
You don't have any trouble with me just looking through your vehicle for any, you don't have any guns or anything in there, do you?
Yes, sir.
I want to just take a quick check real quick. You got any problem with that?
Not really. You want
Okay.
to open the trunk immediately.
Okay. Well, I just want to take a quick look. You be free to go and just, I just want to take a quick check. You don't have any alcohol or nothing in there, do you?
No, sir.
Okay. That's fine. I won't take but just a minute. Just having a lot of problems with guns and stuff up down the interstate. And alcohol and stuff. This won't take but a second. Just step back here. My headlight. Let me just put this clipboard up. Yeah, it won't be but a minute, okay?
Get open the trunk?
I'll get it. Just step right up there, okay?
Right here?
Yeah, that'd be good. I just don't want you to get run over.
When he asked him to search the vehicle, Blackburn kind of hesitated before he answered Mark and said, sure, it'd be no problem. Blackburn followed him all the way to the door of his car. Right then, I believe it probably, Mark told him if he would step back to the front of his vehicle. At that point, I feel sure it's hard to guess what Mark had on his mind at the time, but he was probably wondering why the subject followed him all the way to his door.
Richard, you don't have any knives or nothing on you?
No, sir.
You mind if I just pat you? I just want to make sure you don't have any knives. It's just something we got to do.
Well, you know.
You don't have any hand grenades or nothing in there?
No, sir.
Mark, at that point, asked him to take his left hand out of his pocket. Blackburn didn't respond, and he again asked him to take his left hand out of his pocket.
Is that your wallet?
No, I got money in there.
Take your hand out of your pocket. Take your hand. All right.
Fucking kill you.
All right, it's cool.
Goddamn right. Motherfucker, I'll fucking kill you. Thank God.
Richard R21! Richard R21!
Mark was laying on his back, telling Blackburn to chill out, had his hands up, showing him that he was not there to hurt Blackburn, and kept telling Blackburn just to chill out. and it escalated to the point that Blackburn shot him, laying on the ground the first shot. It hit him in the right front, right around the strap of his vest where the Velcro is at. When the shot was fired, he was able to kick Blackburn off of him. It appeared in the tape that Blackburn hit the ground. Mark was able to get up and draw his revolver. He was firing at Blackburn, and Blackburn appeared to be rolling on the ground as Mark was shooting Blackburn. Later we found out that Blackburn was struck 5 out of 6 times with Mark's gun, the .357 revolver that we carried at that point. As Mark was backing up and he had his gun drawn shooting, you can see in the tape that he was shooting Blackburn. He reached up, we carry our mic up on our shoulders to our radio. He reached up, was calling at that point for assistance as he was backing to the front of Blackburn's vehicle. It appeared that Mark was possibly going to go in between, put the vehicle in between him and Blackburn. When he went to turn, you could see Mark flinch, and he dropped his arm. And that's when he went across in front of the defendant's vehicle and laid down on the shoulder I-95. The bullet entered the left arm, right around the upper part of the arm, traveled through and went through the 3rd and 4th rib into the aorta of Mark's chest.
Although bleeding to death internally, Trooper Coates is able to scream into his radio for help, but is unable to provide the Ridgeland dispatcher his location. Although Blackburn is hit 5 times at center mass by Trooper Coates' .357 firing Winchester hollow point plus P extra loads, Blackburn is still able to wave his 5-shot Derringer long rifle menacingly at the now mortally wounded Coates.
We can see parts of Blackburn's hand, even as Mark went, put the vehicle in between him and Blackburn. We could still see Blackburn's hand with the pistol. It looked like he was looking for Mark. And what we can tell on the tape was saying, "I'll kill you, I'll kill you." He was sitting up in sort of like a prone position, even being struck 5 different shots. He was still able to move and talk.